and gentlemen, we're on page 13 with, guess what? Your quiz on Thursday basically is page 13. So we're going to do it together, but on Thursday, your test looks like page 13. So hopefully we remember from last week how to solve these. Alright, so what's the first thing you should do when you see these problems? Count. Very good. So let's start counting the squares and filling in the numbers. We're counting the squares on page 13. Okay, how many in figure 0? Figure 1? Figure 2? Figure 3? Figure 4? Figure 5? Good, right? So what is my rate of change? Keyword being change. 1, very good. What is my starting point? Where do I find my starting point? Figure 0. So whatever figure 0 is, that is going to be your starting point. So now that you have these two pieces of information, you can now write your equation. What would be your equation for this problem? Y equals x plus 3. Very good. Do I need to write the 1? No. It's invisible. It's there, though. Every time you see just an x, there's a 1 in front of it, plus 3. Okay, how do I solve for 17? No. 17. No. 17 plus 3. Not times 3, plus 3. Because it's 17 times 1, which is just 17, right? Then plus 3. So you plug it in. Wherever you see x, you're going to plug in 17. 17 plus 3 is?
20.
Okay, now we're going to graph. I am going to give you a grade for the graph, so make sure you know how to graph them. Put the points in the correct spot. That is worth points on the test. Here are your points. 0, 3. 0, 3. 1, 4. 2, 5. 3, 6, 4, 7, 5, 8, so on and so forth. It should be a straight line. It's not proportional because it doesn't go through 0, 0, but it is a straight line. It is linear. All right, Isaiah, let's start letter B. Let's start letter B by counting the squares, please. All right. How many will be in figure 0? 3. Figure 1, gentlemen, ladies, I'm recording. 5. Figure 2? 3. 4. So, what are we changing by? By 2. So, what would figure 5 be?
13.
What is my starting point? 3. Another 3, huh? What is my equation? You should not just be copying me. At this point, you should be like checking your answers with me, not just copying at this level. Okay, how do I find 17? 2 times 17 plus 3. If you're not good at multiplication, you can do 17 plus 17. That's the same thing as 2 times 17. All right, what's 2 times 17 plus 3? 37, very good. The number one thing that's going to be worth most in your test is, what is 17? that's going to be the one that's worth the most points. Because the kids always mess that up. Okay, let's graph it. 0, 3, 1, 5, 2, 7, 3, 9, 4, 11. All right. Should be a straight line. The bigger the rate of change, the steeper the line is. Like if you're going on a roller coaster, you know how some roller coasters are very steep and it's very scary as you climb. If the rate of change is big, that means the roller coaster is very steep and you're like, you know, going really, really, really up high and steep. If the smaller the rate of change is, the like, oh, it's a baby roller coaster. It's not going very steep. All right. Letter C, letter C, letter C. Oh no, they do not give us any boxes on letter C. What am I supposed to do? Yep, right here on the table. This is what the information that you need. So this is 6, 9, 12. So what am I changing by? 3. So what's figure 1 and figure 0? Mm-hmm. So what's figure 1? 3. What would figure 0 be then? 0. Because we're taking away 3 if we're going backwards. So 0, 3. What's figure 5? 15. Okay, what am I changing by? 3. What's my starting point? 0. What's my equation? Y equals 3x. I don't need the plus 0. It's there, but you don't need it. So I'm going to go 3 times 17. 51. So this one's 0, 0. Proportional. Yay. This one's even a scarier roller coaster than B. Because it goes more vertical. Huh? Whatever you're changing by, the bigger the number is. So if my rate of change is 100, it's going to be a very, very steep roller coaster. Six Flags type of roller coaster. Which one has a steep climb? Yeah, but not the beginning. Yeah, when you're just like...
Oh, Alexa hates that right.
Which one?
Guardians of the Galaxy. That's how it is.
Is that the elevator?
Yeah, it's not a roller coaster.
I hate it.
That was good.
No, I hate it.
I like that.
All right. So we're recording, but roller coasters do have something to do with this math. All right. One last page before we wrap it up for the day. Page 14. It's very similar to a silent board game. Very, very similar. Okay, number 1 is the easiest one. It's just one step. One step for the first one. Yep, times 2. Fill it in. So all of these times 2, please. All of these times 2. All of these times 2. Super easy. Times 2, everybody. All right. So what goes underneath the 0? 1? 3? No. 4. 5. 6. 100. Okay, negative 5. Good. Negative 3. All right, Augustine, let's focus. What would be your equation?
Y equals fancy X.
2 fancy x. 2x. All right, now we're going to graph it. Before we move on to the second table, we're going to graph it. This is my first point, 0, 0. Where does 0, 0 go on my graph? Right in the middle here, 0, 0. What's my next point?
2.
Nope. What is it? 1, 2. You need two numbers for a point. 1 is your x, 2 is your y. So we're going to go to 1, then we're going to go up to 2. What's my next point? 2, 4. So go over to 2 and up 4. You're going to be graphing so much in 8th grade. So make sure you know how to graph. This number goes first, your x goes first, and then your y. Do not skip graphing the negative numbers. Those are actually the most important ones to graph today. This one's the most important ones. These points are the most important ones to graph. Because we don't practice a lot graphing in the negative land. -5, -10 would be down here. -3, -6. And I know you don't have rulers, but they would 100% create a straight line. Just like so. All right, table number 2 is 2 steps. Table number 2 is 2 steps. All right. Sorry. I'm reading these letters that some of you wrote me, and they're quite funny. All right. What is the rule for the second one? What am I doing? Okay. So I need you to times 2 and then add 2. So if you haven't filled this out, what you should be doing is times 2 plus 2. So did you figure this out? This one is not -12. Double check yourself. This is not -12. Do you have a better answer? What'd you get? Good. Very good. A lot of my students last period wrote -12. Good. Times 2 plus 2. So what goes underneath the 0? 2. Then 4. Then underneath the 2? 3. 5. 6. 20. 20? 22. Sorry, 10. My bad. -5. -8. Not -12. You can't add the 2. And then -6. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing the math. What's -3 times 2? -6. So my brain's processing -6, but the answer is -4. What's my equation? Very good. Okay, let's graph this one. Y equals 2x plus 2. Before we move on, let's graph it. I'm going to change my color. 0, 2, 1, 4, 2, 6, 3, 8, 4, 10, 5, 12, 6, 14. All right. Then Most important ones to graph are these two. In the negative land. -5, -8. And -3, -4. All right, the last one. The last table is also 2 steps. Funny. All right. Okay. 2 steps. What are the 2 steps I have to do for the last one? Times 2 plus 5. So if you haven't finished filling in the square, all you have to do is times 2 and then add 5. Times 2 plus 5. You can even use your fingers for the plus 5. That's okay. Okay, what goes underneath the 0? 5. Underneath the 1? 7. Underneath the 2? Underneath the 4? 5. 10. 100? -5. -3. Very good. Equation? 2x plus 5. Very good. All right, let's graph it. 0, 5, 1, 7, 2, 9, 3, 11, 4, 13, these are the ones that are most important to graph. -5, -5. And -3, -1, which is up here where the actual -3 is at. And if I graph it, that's not proportional. There's only one that's proportional, which is the first one we drew. But looking at these 3 lines, what do we notice about these 3 lines? They're all straight. What else do you notice about these lines? They each have negatives. Michael, what did you say? They're different colors. Yeah, Miss Amelia for using her different color pens. I'm looking for a word that starts with the P, not proportional, about these lines. What is it, Michael? They're parallel. What does parallel mean?
They're never going to touch each other.
They're never going to cross each other. They're never going to touch each other. So, take a wild guess. Look at the 3 equations. What part of the equation makes them parallel? So do you guys see how they're all 2x, 2x, 2x? Okay. When you have the same rate of change, when you have the same like 2x, 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 then you're going to have parallel lines. In 8th grade, that is something that you have to have like learn and memorize. In 7th grade, I'm introducing you to it. If you have the same rate of change, so we have the rate of change of 2, 2, and 2. They all have a 2 in front of the x. That means that your lines will be parallel. So if you get in 8th grade if you get y equals 5x plus 2, y equals 5x minus 10, y equals 5x plus 3, will these lines be parallel? Yes. Why? Because they all have a 5x, 5x, 5x. So in 8th grade, when you see this common trend, no matter what the number is, you will have parallel lines before you graph them. So if you see this, you're like, oh, they're going to be parallel. And if they're not, you did something wrong. Okay? So that makes it parallel.